Good morning, everyone. Darius Dale here to present our macro minute for Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. Starting with markets, we had stocks up, commodities up, crypto up, dollar down, global bond yields up this morning. Big movers, we got Japan's Nikkei 225 index, silver and WTI all up 2%, Ethereum up 3%, Bitcoin up 4%. On the economic front, we're receiving mounting evidence of a weak handoff from Q4 to Q1 with respect to global growth. So we had South Korean exports come in at minus 750 basis points versus November, to 20% year over year, December to date. That's the lowest growth rate we've seen since March of 2021. Netherlands Consumer Confidence Index ticked down 6 points to minus 25 in December. That's the lowest we've seen since November of 2020. And then lastly, Germany's GfK Consumer Confidence Index ticked down 5 points to minus 6.8 in January. That's the lowest we've seen since June 21. Taking it to the chart, this is something we called out a couple of weeks ago with high yield OAS had broken to bullish from the perspective of our volatility adjusted momentum signal. And we said, hey, look, if it holds here, it's going to confirm the bullishness and sort of put itself in a pattern that's very akin to Q4 of 2018. So we hope investors are aware that one of the sort of pushbacks I've been receiving from institutional investors with respect to our negative outlook for U.S. and global growth in delta terms. Obviously, growth is still elevated in levels terms. Is the fact that there's a sort of pending corporate borrowing binge sort of ahead of us for 2022 that can take the baton from fiscal stimulus to and give it to the private sector to perpetuate growth, at least in the United States. But then when I look at the chart on corporate growth or sorry on corporate credit and here we're looking at the 10-year trend line and the 3-year trend line with respect to corporate credit outstanding, and we're already north of both of those trend lines. So my question is, where is the credit growth going to come from if we've already been on the borrowing bench? With respect to today's probable range setups, we got overbought signal in the 10-year UK gilt yield, oversold signal in the currency volatility. Bullish VAM's S&P 500 got 1.2% downside versus 6% upside. The bearish VAM's WTI has minus 13% downside versus 5% upside. Bullish VAM's Bloomberg Dollar Index has minus 0.5% of downside versus 1.2% of upside. Neutral VAM's 10-year Treasury yield minus 15 basis points of downside versus 15 basis points of upside. So a fair fight there. Neutral VAM's Bitcoin minus 11% of downside versus 9% of upside. Neutral VAM's Ethereum minus 13% of downside versus 13% of upside. So fair fight there as well. And then lastly, neutral VAM's gold minus 3% of downside versus 1% of upside. So with that, Darius Dale presenting our macro minute for Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. Best of luck out there today.